all actors cannot be trusted.
Before the video starts, I do need to make an apology. Um, I didn't think it was this bad. I forgot what fun looked like. So Brian, I am sorry for thinking this.
What kind of primitive beasts are responsible for this mess? Yeah! Rip it!
Was fun. But in my defense, the musical original cast recording is still a bop. The song is still a bop. The scene, though, no. I guess welcome to Tophverse. So I guess the most pressing question everyone wants to know: why do you hate fun?
Mm.
Mm.
I love fun. Fun is great. I'm assuming that you're referring to the fact that I think it's interesting
Yeah,
that
I want to hear
that
the
people
story about the
enjoy. Oh,
Tarzan.
there is no story. If you're looking for a story, you might be disappointed. But it really, I don't know. I don't really like to talk about things that I might dislike, but um, this all stems from I'm a very big Genesis fan. The early Genesis.
Mhm.
I'm just not really into Phil Collins.
I'm not a Phil Collins fan either, so
Oh, you're not. But
I'm
but but but
not.
how do
I'm
you
not.
feel about the Tarzan music?
It's okay. It's not my favorite Disney movie by far,
Hmm.
but it's not bad.
I mean, Tarzan's animation is awesome,
Hmm.
and I think, uh, but when it comes to the soundtrack, anyone that talks about "Son of Man," which is a good song, has to also answer for trashing the camp.
See,
And if they can answer and if they can defend "Son of Man," they must also defend trashing the camp.
I won't defend Son of Man, but I can defend Trash in the Camp.
You can defend trashing the camp.
I mean, it's not a bad song. It's kind of, it's kind of like, that kind of weird song in the middle of nowhere that
Oh,
doesn't fit at
oh,
all.
oh, it's weird.
It's kind of like a little a short, really short slow dance song, which doesn't make any sense.
Oh, sure,
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
sure.
Um,
Oh man.
but for real, the music, I think, especially for Puffs, is what kind of got me into Puffs. Everything
Wow.
is still stuck in my head. As soon as
Oh
you
wow.
walk in, it's like that repetitive song. I can't believe it's not Butterbeer is forever, forever going to be and just drilled into my mind.
Well, I'm glad and I'm sorry.
Yep. See, it's like that song. It's just like kind of out of nowhere, and it's just always stuck in your head. That's like Trash in the Camp for me a little bit.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I guess they're both serious earworms. Like
Hmm.
sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm screaming and I'm hearing trash in the camp and zoobidabop zoobidabop.
Did you see the Broadway musical,
The what
the
musical?
Broadway musical of Tarzan?
No, I didn't even know they made one. But of
Yep,
course they did.
yep. I saw it. It wasn't actually terrible. So when you were approached with like from Matt with writing the
Yeah.
music for Puffs,
Mhm.
was it always like going to be a '90s inspired kind of soundtrack, or were you going to go more of like a John Williams style from the actual movies?
You're actually asking the first question that I asked Matt and Steve at the first meeting at the pit.
Hmm.
So at this point, Matt had already uh, written it to a certain extent that it sort of looks like it does today, but not really. But he pitched me on it a while before that, and I had read over the first. I wouldn't say it's the first draft. I don't know if it's the first draft, but it's like the first like showing people draft.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was one thing that I saw it could have gone in either direction. And I was like, if we're gonna use 90s pop music, you don't need me. And if you want to do John Williams style stuff, I've got to get started now and do some serious research. And the way it kind of came about is it obviously ended up being a little bit of both. But back when it was at the Pit Theater and for a certain part of the Elektra run, I'm sure you did you see it at that
did
point?
not. I saw it right after they recorded the Fathom events.
Oh, okay. So there was a lot of 90s pop music being used, and it was when we started getting more attention and looking into doing the Fathom show that we realized maybe we should write some more music that we actually have the rights to use. Yeah. Okay. I think there's been enough time. We can talk about that. So I ended up having to find write replacement songs, and it was really nervous for me because I didn't know how people would react, especially the fans that would come back every single weekend to see it, like in the group that must not be named.
Yeah.
Or they came all the time. They're really early fans of it. So I really wanted to write something that when they came in to see the show, you know, they wouldn't say, "Oh, I really miss Chumbawamba being there," or "Oh, I really miss that little NSYNC snippet that they they used right there."
I think your Chumbawamba cover is just great, though.
Oh, thank you.
It
Thank you.
is stuck in my head. I think that, and I Can't Believe It's Not Butterbeer, the two that get stuck in my head while watching the show.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so glad. Those are actually might be the two tracks that took the longest to make. So that's very, very gratifying to hear. Thank you.
Do you have like a favorite moment in Puffs, like that stands out to you? Because I know a lot of people think of the White Room scene being the big one.
Yeah.
Do you have another one, or is that your?
So yeah, I mean the White Room scene is fantastic. I think Steve and Zach really, really night after night nail it. I mean, selfishly, as a composer, my favorite part of the show is when Leanne has her big 11th hour heroic number.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fun to push all of the audience's buttons, being a part of that, because the music goes from extreme to extreme to absolute triumph to absolute failure.
Yeah.
Frankly. So what you get is these huge peaks and valleys of emotion, and what you end up with is a lot of gasps. Sometimes people laugh at that point because they really don't know how to feel, because they've been pushed so hard into the extremes. That's always gratifying whenever I could see it live and to see how the buttons get pushed. I mean, because that's kind of how I approach composing. Is it's like, oh, can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You're good. No worries.
It's not how I approach composing. I think of it as, how do I want people to feel at this moment? How do I want them to feel here? So to see how that all comes about night after night is fun. My favorite little throwaway gag is it's a dumb death buddy line, but they're who's going to tell his evil wife and kids?
That
Just
was one of the few that gets me as well. And then
yeah,
Julie's line of the whole series black bit, I feel like
yeah.
nobody ever laughs at, and I'm always hysterical laughing at that exact
Oh,
moment.
good, good. Yeah, no, that's it's so stupid, but so great. I know exactly what you mean.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There's a little bit of humor for all different kinds of people in
Hmm.
that show. Right.
Do you have a song that got cut from the show that you wanted in?
Ooh. You know, a lot of what I wrote, I mean, I'd say all of it gets used somehow. Um, so I don't necessarily I don't think there's anything I wrote that didn't make it in. But what's interesting is whenever the show gets retooled, because it got retooled a couple of times, and
Mhm.
the Xavier Jones plot line got streamlined and focused at lots of different points, in especially the Pit and Electra run. A lot of the music I wrote for that plot line got used in ways that I didn't write it for, but it still got used. Uh, just because it's easier for Matt to take little snippets of songs and pieces that I wrote for the show and just being like, this actually works now here and here. So there were stuff. I mean, there were times when I saw it uh, at the Electra that I was like, oh, this is interesting. But like literally, if you watched it in the the audience, you'd have no idea that's
Mhm.
not what it was written for.
So you and Matt have worked together a lot, Magnificent Revengers as well, Kapowie Go
Hmm.
Go, and Guy Choiceman. Do you
Yeah.
have like a favorite of the projects you've worked together on?
Wow. I think the music that I wrote for Magnificent Revengers is a lot of fun. It sounds really good. I'm very very pleased with it, and I really hope more people get to hear it for maybe a future production, maybe just something, because there's a lot of cool music there that I would love to see a fully fleshed out version of it.
Yeah,
Because I never got.
I saw it at the pit a
Sorry.
couple of times, and I thought it was amazing. But I would love
Oh.
it was very like complex with all the scripts going back and forth. So I'd be
Mm,
amazed to see how they would be able to pull that off, with not having that whole script in front of them.
right. Oh yeah, for sure. And I know, and there's what's really funny for me about the Magnificent Revengers is, let's say you see it fully staged, and just as much as you'll only see maybe a fraction of the show night after night, depending on what the audience chooses. The same thing with the music. And there's even different parts of this, there's like different versions of the same song that were written for different things that happen to certain characters or certain things that you may not have even seen based on music you've heard that night. So it's kind of a monster on every single level of production, including the music. Um, my favorite little snippet, and this is, hopefully you'll get to see it someday in like this fully fledged out version. But there's a little piece of music I wrote for one of the characters who finds a tiny toy boat on a trail, and he decides whether or not to pick it up. And of course, the audience picks it up or doesn't pick it up. But when he has to decide, it's like, should I pick this up? There's like this little kind of like dumb little toy piano ice cream truck melody. But it just kind of plays and it's super short, like maybe like 2 seconds long. But if you get it and you end up using it, and you end up using it in this certain way that it might save the day later, you hear like a fully fleshed out epic version of that same
I
song.
do remember
Which
the
is also
toy
fun.
boat. I do remember the toy boat, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. But the toy boat did not save the day when I
No,
saw
oh
it.
no.
Um,
But my favorite show that we've done uh, is Kapowie Go Go, and we talk all the time about restaging that. We were talking about doing it in fall of 2020.
Yep, and then the world kind of
It's-
just stopped
and then
there.
the world stopped. So who knows? Like, I think that is something that could happen, sooner rather than later, or time doesn't have any meaning anymore. So maybe it'll feel like sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
That show is fantastic. The music I wrote for it is very chip tuney and video game music inspired, and also based on Saturday morning cartoons and anime. So that's also a lot of fun to write.
Yeah, so
And I
it's
hope
a
to
wee
revisit it all.
paradise for that show. Um
Yeah.
I did see the YouTube uh production, so which was really nice to see some of
Oh
that.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
Guy Choiceman was super super fun as well. Definitely
Mhm.
like a more like modernish futuristic Magnificent Revengers.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So,
taking that. Yeah, Matt was really channeling his election anxiety. Back like late last summer, early fall, and in a way, we all kind of were. And yeah, I just tried to make music that sounded like game shows, but like a modern game show or like a reality show.
mhm.
So like you felt the pressure,
Yeah.
or if you felt the pressure in like a wink wink way, like this giving dumb and low stakes choices the
Yeah.
same amount of drama as something that had high stakes. That was always funny to me.
Going back to a little bit more of Potter, what's your house out of curiosity? Are you a
Oh, I
Puff?
am. I'm a brave.
You're a Brave?
Yeah, I know. I'm reading your body language, and you're not pleased.
A lot of people in the show were snakes though, which I was kind of shocked about.
Don't be, because all actors cannot be trusted.
I feel like that's the title right there.
Oh, good, good.
And
Actors cannot be trusted.
and just, tagging everyone in the show at that point. Um
That's fine.
um so I know you worked on some other stuff.
Yeah, Patrick Willems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So any other like projects that you really enjoyed working on with him or anyone else?
yeah. In fact, this is a good time to plug.
Feel free
uh,
to. Feel free to.
yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Um, this is an ongoing. There is an ongoing plot line through all of his videos over the past year and a half. Anytime there's a narrative section uh, there's not a video essay based on film or TV. I usually I'm the one that's scoring them, or and but what's coming up is the finale for it, which is going to be on Nebula streaming service, and it's going to be. Last I checked, it's going to be about 30 minutes to 45 minutes of nothing but wrapping up the plot line that's been going on for about a year and a half. They're filming it right now, and I'm going to be writing a lot of music for that, and I wrote a song for it. So I'm really excited for people to hear it.
It's great.
Yeah,
I haven't watched any of them yet, but I definitely will now.
start with he has a playlist it says the current season of Patrick H. Willems. Start from the beginning.
All right.
Uh, there's a lot of music that connects them all together. There's themes, there's leitmotifs, all that fun stuff. Which is fun because I can't think of anyone else really doing that for YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. YouTube is genuinely generally uncreative with that aspect, kind of.
Well,
I
it's just
feel
more
like
like
it's more
where
like, one and done kind of things. No one's like really doing like a saga like that.
right. Yeah, no, it's a good way to just getting something out super quick. Like some days I'll write the music for something, and the very next day people can watch it.
Yeah.
Like that's that quick turnaround is something that I've never experienced before in other forms of media, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So what got you into composing and music in general?
So uh, I I really at any point in my life I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. Uh, I there are certain things in my childhood that I remember having like a profound effect on me, and then later realizing like around like the age of 11, 12, realizing that it was really the music that was speaking me the most, and I started writing music then. um those kinds of experiences that I had were like singing Jurassic Park in theaters when I was 6 years old. I had my parents take me over and over and over to see that movie, and I still remember, just how it made me feel. And the music for that movie still rocks. It's still
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies. So one of my favorite scores. It's really stunning. Um, but also, I grew up being obsessed with the Beatles and um, just learning all that kind of stuff to like singing, and I was in choirs and yeah. And then I realized that I just wanted to play the drums like all the time, and I played drums starting in when I was 8 all the way to now.
Yeah.
So that's just always been like a passion of mine.
I don't know. I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. Are you a fan of the
Oh,
new
good.
Jurassic World movies or?
I'm gonna be honest. No, I'm not. I do not care for them.
You're not a
They're
Chris
not my
Pratt fan?
No, I love Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's great.
Yeah.
Um, it was fun watching him do this career trajectory from Parks and Rec to Zero Dark 30 to uh, Guardians of the Galaxy. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Chris Pratt fan. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
think that the new movies just don't have the same. They just don't have the same sort of I guess focus or as like the first movie. Like I'm not even big on the second Jurassic, like Lost World or Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel like the first one, like nothing really beat that.
Jurassic Park rules.
Yep, yep. I have a quite a few friends who are Jurassic Park fans, so
Mhm.
um so do you have outside of projects you worked on, do you have like a favorite play or musical that if you say Cats, I'm just gonna hang up right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Cats. Call your bluff. No, believe it or not, Cats is not one of my favorite musicals.
Yeah, that movie was interesting.
It was incredible, and it was an experience I'll never forget for as long as I live.
When I saw it, somebody was in the theater and started applauding and came up to me, was like, "Wasn't this the greatest thing you've ever seen?" I'm like,
Oh, oh no, no, no.
meanwhile, I
See,
was laughing through the entire thing. I feel
oh,
like Andrew Lloyd Webber is like a really great or really bad. There's like no in between.
sure. I'm really hoping that they continue the Andrew Lloyd Webber cinematic universe, and have Starlight Express, Joseph the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and Jesus Christ Superstar all exist in the same universe. And I really, really, really am waiting for the day when Kevin Feige makes that happen. Uh, so I'd like to see that. Um, but back to your original question. uh, Back to your original question. My favorite musical is West Side Story. I'm a huge, huge Leonard Bernstein fan, and Stephen Sondheim, of course. So that uh, that meeting of the minds, that collaboration is really something. It is. It still holds up. It's still great. Um, I studied it a lot in college. I got my degree in music composition, so I studied the scores for it. Got a whole new appreciation for it. Uh, Even on that level, it's still incredible. Uh, I saw its revival when I think that was 2011, 2010,
Hmm.
where they had all of the sharks speak Spanish and sing in Spanish, and it was fantastic. The staging was incredible. Um, yeah, that was
Did you happen to
that.
see the new revival?
There's an even newer revival.
The one that's
I'm
currently this one that's out right now.
uh, then I have not seen that one.
I haven't. The
But
people that I've heard who've seen it were not fans of it.
uh,
I
oh, that's too bad.
unfortunately was sick when I was supposed to
Okay.
go, so I missed it.
Hmm.
But there was no
Well,
intermission in that one either, which was
really,
weird. Yeah.
even the movie had an intermission.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
it was more focused on like dance versus this was a lot of ballet people in it, I heard. So,
Okay, got it.
um
Interesting. So, hmm.
I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park as your favorite movie, hands down, as well.
Yeah, it's definitely in my top five. Recently watched it again because I'm always recently watching it again, and it's definitely definitely one of my favorites for sure. Other favorites of mine are 2001: A Space Odyssey, uh, There Will Be Blood, Mad Max: Fury Road, and Casablanca. Those are movies I could watch over and over and over and over and over and over again.
For me, it's like any 80s like Spielberg movies. So like Back to the
Yeah.
Future included in that, but
Okay. Yeah. No. Those are all incredible. Um, yeah. Back to the Future is awesome. Recently, just watched the second one, and it's fun. Not as good as the first, but
yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Um so any other projects that you have coming up besides working with Patrick? Out of curiosity?
Um, there's always a lot of wouldn't it be great if kind of discussions. Um, but really, right now, this Patrick thing is actually taking up this Patrick thing. That's pretty funny. This Patrick thing is taking up a lot of time at the moment. But but I'm really looking forward to sometime maybe later this year, retackling the Kapow Go stuff. Um, there's also some talks about maybe like some short films that I've been asked to do, but nothing set in stone. So
That's good.
we'll
That's
see.
good.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
I saw it 9 times in person, and you
Nice.
know, the Fathom events recording a ridiculous amount of times. I'm sure I've lost count at
Mm.
this point, but the music for sure, I feel like was one of my drawings for the show
I
after I saw it the
appreciate that.
first time.
Thank you. Um, you might have seen it as many times live as I have. Uh, so congratulations. That's awesome. And that's very very kind of you to say. Thank you so much. Um, Thank you for uh, for asking over and over for the soundtrack, because when when the world stopped, it was a good project to get that all together, and I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't asked.
Yeah,
So,
there was quite a
so
few
thank
of
you.
us that
No, but but thank you,
yeah.
thank you.
I still listen to it. I'm not gonna lie. Once in
I
a
appreciate it.
while, either when I have my music on shuffle or I'll deliberately go in. It's a nice mix of music.
I'm glad. I'm very glad. It's interesting to listen to all together because it's so varied in styles. But it's a nice little capsule of the show. So I'm glad you appreciate it.
Yeah, and I love I know that your wife did the album artwork, which is
Yeah.
fantastic as well. So
I will relay that to her. She'll be happy to hear
very, you know, 90s like school kind of style, which is nice.
that. Yeah, of course.
And going back to songs that were cut
Yeah.
or bits and pieces where, you know, Centaur was like I think like a 3-minute song.
Yeah.
And we hear it for maybe like 30 seconds or so. So
yeah. Yeah, and that is just how it goes sometimes. I really don't have any control over how it's used.
no, I know,
Or,
but the
or
part that's taken is quite amusing to listen to. So
I'm glad. It's so dumb.
that scene, that the whole scene though is just altogether is just one of the outer ones.
Do you know what it was originally
No,
in that scene?
no.
Genuine pony. So the when we were replacing it, I was telling my friend Becca, who sings on the Bippy song, that I was like, I have to like write something to replace Genuine Pony. She goes, "Oh, Pony? Are you gonna write like another song called like Centaur?" And I was like, "Now I am." That's it.
Thank you for reminding me about that whole Bippy song.
Okay, yeah.
Were you the one who wrote it? I know Jesse was involved in some of that.
So okay, so the lyrics were written by Jesse and Matt, and it was the kind of thing where I think what Jesse had written for Bippy to chant right there was I think it was a little different, or maybe a little longer. I really wasn't there for when she actually presented it to Matt, and Matt just kind of tweaked it a bit to make it for the show. In the original version of the show, they used "In the Arms of the Angels" in the background for that part. So you know, it's like a sad dying pet. It's very, very dark joke. But when it came time to replace some of those songs, I wrote some Sarah McLachlan-esque music using those lyrics that just kind of sit in the background.
I definitely think Bippy though is probably the greatest work of art that is of the century.
Yeah, it's a really good joke. She was there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
She was always there. Remember?
Yep.
Remember all the great times we had with Bippy? Yeah, it's a great joke.
Bippy. Well, thank you again so much for sitting down with me. I do appreciate it.
I appreciate you asking me. It's very flattering. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you.
Of course.
Someone who's been here this whole time. I was Bippy.
Who the fuck was that?
It's simple. Well, Avada Kedavra. Oh my wizard god, it's that easy? Why is it so easy? You just say 2 words and you know, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm alright, I'm okay.
Someone has to tell his evil wife and kid.
Now it feels worse!
Big news! A mass murderer broke out of wizard prison. What if my mom sent him after me to come rescue me from that shitty school? I've got a feeling this year things are gonna get really serious. P.S. Guy's name is Serious.
A murderer on the loose? Ruh-roh.